Hey, you guys, you're not going to believe this, okay? We got Nando in the house with us, the mad scientist of MMA. Dude, we're getting snow again. I mean, it's April 13th and it's snowing. This is what happens when you live in Utah, my friends. Welcome to Knuckle Sandwich MMA. We got a lot to go over. And I promised you last week that Nando and I would recap last week's card because it was a good one. But we're going to get through this card first because it's a fight night card with the main fight being Max Holloway versus Arnold Allen. And that's a great fight, man. So we're going to go ahead and start from top to bottom this time. And then we're going to do a recap at the end of our analysis today. So welcome. Don't forget, like, share, and subscribe. Okay. Hit the smash, smash the hit, or hit the button or something, right?
Right.
You say, you tell them.
Hit the like button.
Bada boom. Nando does it again. All right, guys. So first up, we have Max Holloway versus Arnold Allen for the featherweight bout. And we've got a minus 155 for Max Holloway and a plus 135 for Arnold Allen. That's kind of interesting. What do you got on this, Nando?
Max Holloway is ranked number 2. He's 31 years old, 23-7, legacy MMA. 2 of the last 5, but 3 of those fights was Volkanovski. He looked out of his element in that last fight with Volkanovski. He's probably the best boxer in that weight class, volume striker. But he's had so many wars that it's hard to tell where his mindset is. Arnold Allen's ranked 4th, 29, 19-1, 12-fight winning streak. Wins over Dan Hooker, Cater, Nick Lance, Gilbert Melendez. He's all in, crazy punches, powerful chokes, pressure, picks his punches. So this is going to be interesting if Max Holloway can keep the distance, keep the punches the way he likes, fights the way he wants to fight. If I'm Dan Hooker, I'm pressuring him the whole time. I'm moving him against, trying to take him down. No one ever tries to take him down. They asked him in this fight, do you think you can win the title? He goes, I wouldn't be fighting in this division if I didn't think I could win the title again. The only way
who is this year? Who said that?
Max Holloway.
Okay.
They're saying, well, you lost 3 times, you're never going to win the title. And he's kind of bummed him out, I think. But I think if Volkanovski goes up, or he has a great style, but I don't know. I'm going to go with Arnold Allen this time. I love Max Holloway, but I think he's been in so many wars. And I don't know. It's kind of melancholy in this whole interview thing that they're doing.
Yeah. And I did something on purpose this time, Nando. I chose not to watch any of the interviews.
Okay.
Because I don't know if it really helps me with my picks or not. But I agree with what you're saying. It's kind of, everybody loves Max Holloway. Who doesn't love, Holloway? But then, and this is the perfect matchup because of their rankings, with Allen winning and Holloway losing, right? So it's kind of the perfect matchup. He's not really fighting down because he lost, so it makes perfect sense. But you got somebody that's young and hungry like Allen. I did watch a couple of his fights because I wanted to get more of a gauge on his skill set. He's a pretty powerful striker. He's much more powerful than Holloway as far as his striking, but Holloway definitely has a better jab, no doubt about it. And
Right.
those jabs can hurt you really, really bad if you get too many of them. It's like calf kicks, man. You can only take about 3 solid calf kicks before it starts to take effect on your leg. And but I think his jab is going to be his secret weapon. Allen looks strong. There is a height differential. Holloway at 5'11" and Allen at 5'8".
Okay.
Reach is similar, 69 to 70, and Holloway does have a little bit longer leg reach of 42 to 39. So I would expect, okay, if Holloway needs, if he's going to win this fight, he's got to do a lot of leg kicks, and he's got to use that jab. So he's got to stay at distance for both of those things. Where Allen marches forward, he's Holloway. I don't know who's going to win that battle, who's going to push forward, and who's going to be on the back foot. But I think if Holloway is really going to win this fight, he's going to have to be moving forward, pushing Allen back, but staying at a distance and jabbing him up, picking him apart, and then doing the leg kicks. The leg kicks are essential. Now, on Allen's part, from my perspective, I think he needs to do what he does. Do what brought him to the dance, right? And do those kinds of things, and put Max Holloway on the back foot. If he does that, he can crowd Holloway, and his punches are going to be more powerful. If he gets him up against the fence, he's going to be dropping some bombs and elbows and all that kind of stuff. I see it as a stand-up fight, and I am going to go with you on this one. Nando, I'm going to pick Arnold Allen to win this one.
Okay.
I think it's going to be a finish, TKO or KO.
Whoa. Okay.
And that's a 5-rounder, right?
Right. 5 rounds. Main event.
Okay. So there we go, baby. All right. Next up now, correct me if I'm wrong on this one. I thought Edson Barbosa left the UFC.
Yeah, I thought so too. Yeah, it was weird.
He said he was leaving.
Yeah, for some reason I thought he was in the PFL tournament. Yeah, for some reason I thought.
Yeah, it's weird. But so we have Edson Barbosa versus Billy Quarantillo or Quarantillo. That's correct name to pronounce it. At featherweight bout, and there's no odds posted on the UFC website for this fight. Give me your take on it. What? Give me some stats.
Edson's ranked 14th. He's 37, 22-11, 205. American Top Team. Lost to Bryce Mitchell, Dan Ige. Great head kicks that we know. Gets knocked out and takes a lot of punishment. That's why I thought they kind of got rid of him. Billy Quarantino is 34, 17-4, 3-5. Gracie Tampa with wins over Alex Hernandez, lost to Shane Burgos. Great Muay Thai plum. This is a big leap for him. He pressures the fence. He likes to pressure them against the fence and then knee him in the stomach. So it's going to be interesting because Edson Barbosa has been in a lot of wars also. Like, he hasn't been doing very well. You know what I mean? Billy is, on the up. So I think, I think they're trying to position Billy to win this fight. So it's going to be very interesting. What do you think?
Yeah, I agree with you on that one. One thing that I really like about Billy is that dude. He doesn't quit, because I've seen him rock like hardcore, wobbled, doing the chicken dance, all that kind of stuff. I've seen him do all that stuff, and man, he gets that second wind. I don't know how, because I've seen him do it within a round. Not be, a lot of times they get their second wind when after the round they're sitting down, But I've seen him come back in the same round after a beating, and I was like, this is over, and it's not over. Not with Quarantillo. He's younger, and Edson has been in a number of brawls, wars, but he also, I think he's been in the fight game so long, Nando, that when he starts getting hurt, he I don't want to say he gives up, but I think he's susceptible because he gets wobbled, and I think it's harder for him to come back from that. If he gets clocked, it's harder for him to snap back, even between rounds. And then I think also because he was one of the most feared leg kickers in the UFC, probably in all MMA.
Yeah, he kicked Terry Adam in the head, and I mean, it was the opening to the UFC pay-per-views for the longest time. Remember that?
But I think also they feared the leg kicks, nobody wanted to fight him in his prime because his leg kicks were vicious. And I think his gas tank may be suspect now because he'll start off with some leg kicks and still has the talent on the leg kicks, but then you see him use less and less and less, and that's when he starts getting touched up. You know, they
Yes.
close the distance on him because he's not throwing the leg kicks. It's not a threat. And I think that's exactly what's going to happen in this fight. And I'm going to pick Billy on this one because I think he's going to push forward and wear him down and pick him apart.
Oh man. I'm also gonna pick Billy. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. Okay.
What are you lamenting about?
I don't know. I don't like when we pick the same. Okay.
All right, let's move on. Now we've got a light heavyweight bout with Dustin Jacoby versus Azamat Mirzakhanov. Mirzakhanov, there you go.
Mirzakhanov. Okay.
And there are no odds posted on this one either on the website. So give me your breakdown.
Azamat is 15. He's 12-0, wins over Devin Clark, Cage Dojo Warrior Tribe. He has a great M1 style, sambo overhand, flying knees is what he loves. Dustin Jacoby's 35, 18-6, 4-5 factory MMA. Lost to Khalil Roundtree, wide stance, KO power. Fought Alex Pereira and Glory kickboxing. Needs to go back to the knees because I was watching a lot of his Glory kickboxing and he was really good, great knees, but then you see him in the UFC and he's not using those, which he probably should. So I mean,
do you think it's the MMA aspect that he knows somebody can take him down?
Yeah.
That's why.
Yeah, probably. I don't know. I think Azamat is on a 12-0 win streak. He doesn't know, like, yeah, in the last couple of fights of Justin Jacoby just doesn't look like he's putting it all together. You know what I mean? He's got this great kickboxing background, but he's not using it. I think he's too nervous that he's going to get taken down all the time. But I mean, they are ranked in the top 15. And Justin Jacoby's ranked higher. I'm still going to go with Azamat in this one, but yeah.
Okay. I forgot to mention the height difference. We got 6'3" for Jacoby and 5'10" for Azamat.
6'3"?
Reach, yeah. The reach is 76 inches for Jacoby to 71.5 for Azamat. So there's a 5-inch reach advantage, 4.5. And then leg reach, we've got 45 inches for Jacoby and 41 for Azamat. I'm going to go with Azamat as well because I think he's got a lot more power. And if Jacoby, of what I suspected of why he's not doing those kicks like you were mentioning in the previous organization, is being afraid of being taken down and can't scramble. I don't think that Azamat has that problem. And so if he gets him to the ground, it could be like ground and pound city for Jacoby. So that's why I'm picking him.
Okay.
All right. And that's a great fight, by the way. It's a good fight. Next up, this is a fight I'm really interested in. Tanner Boser for light heavyweight with Ion Kudilaba. Kudilaba, excuse me.
Kudilaba.
And let's see if I got any odds on this one. No odds, though. They're not posting any odds. It's weird.
That's weird.
Okay, so give me your take.
Kudilaba is 29, 16-9, 1-3-1 of the last 5. Timonashoff Sports Club lost to Johnny Walker, Ryan Span. Sometimes he gets too close and gets hit. Is great wrestling. Tanner Boser's 31, 20-9, 205. Shaved Bear MMA lost to Rodrigo Nascimento. Wins over Oven St. Preux. Great mullet, great movement, great feint. I think Tanner Boser has everything going for him, you know, and Kudilaba is kind of one of these guys that's become a journeyman. You know what I mean? He's giving people wins and he's not sticking to his wrestling and his striking. So I think Bozer is what? What is the height difference in this one?
We got Bozer at 6'2" and Kudilaba at 6'1", so they're comparable.
Oh, okay, they're the same.
And the reach is identical. Bozer has a 2-inch leg reach advantage, 43 to 41 over Kudilaba.
Yeah, I still think Bozer's gonna win. I like his head movement. He's like great, going left to right. He doesn't stay in the same place. He doesn't move like his leg movement isn't as good, but his head movement is great.
Yeah, I agree with that. So you're picking Bozer?
Yeah.
Okay. So here's my take on Kudilaba first. He made a drastic change in his fighting style because he was known as the Incredible Hulk who gets angry and fights with rage and all that stuff. And then he kind of did an about face, a 180, and he's trying to be a head fighter, not just rage and anger and going out and throwing bombs. He's trying to think, but I'm surprised at how old you said he was, because I thought he was a lot older now. You said 29, right?
29.
Still a young man. So I'm going to go opposite of you this time for this reason.
Okay, here we go.
For this reason, because I'm going to go with Kudilaba, because he is capable of making changes. Okay. And even though they're both coming off of losses, I think Kudilaba is probably continuing and the reason was, the key is what you said, and that is he's 29 years old. Okay. So he's still trainable, teachable, and all that kind of stuff. But I saw a drastic change in him, even though he lost. I see that he's probably going to change it up a little bit more. I think he's going to get Tanner Bozer, so I'm going to go with Kudilaba on this one.
Okay.
Okay, next up is another fight. Oh my gosh, there's so many good fights on this card, Nando. It's a bantamweight bout. We've got Pedro Munoz versus Chris Gutierrez. And this is at, bantamweight, but no odds on this one either. So what do you got?
Okay, Chris Gutierrez is 31, 19-4, 4-0 in one of the last 5. Factory X went over Frankie Edgar. Good leg kicks, getting his groove. He's 31, but he's finally kind of putting everything together. Pedro Munoz is a seasoned fighter, 36, 19-7, 1 of 5, American top team. He had that no contest with Sean O'Malley. He lost to Dominic Cruz, Jose Aldo. Great grappling. He's a good puncher. He's way more seasoned. I always get him confused with Rob Font for some reason. They're in that same weight class, but I think Pedro Munoz is gonna he's just got everything together. He's wins fights and he loses fight. He loses fights to big names. These up and coming people can't get him. You know what I mean? He only loses to someone that's ranked high. So I'm gonna go with Pedro Munoz because I think he's really, really good, and it's not over yet for him. He's probably got 2 years, to be honest, but yeah,
Okay.
I still think he's got it.
Okay. I like the analysis. One thing I noticed, how I know you're going to pick somebody, your poker face ain't there, bro. This is how I knew. You didn't say journeyman. Oh, snap! No, I mean, of course, you're not going to say that somebody that you like and that you favor. But to me, he's kind of falling in that area, that arena of being a journeyman. They love to see him fight, but like you said, he's losing the important fights, and that's like Marlon or not. Who was it? The ball-headed dude that left and just lost in the PFL.
Just lost in the PFL.
Yeah, he knocked out Sterling.
Oh, I can't think of who you're talking about.
The Brazilian dude. It just left.
Marlon Moraes?
Moraes, yeah. So I think he's fallen into that category. But here's the thing that intrigues me about this fight. By the way, I'll start off saying I'm picking Chris Gutierrez. Okay.
Okay.
So make it easy for you. But the reason why I'm so intrigued by this fight is because both of them are vicious leg kickers. Okay. They can throw some leg strikes like nobody's business. But I also have seen Munoz stop using his leg kicks as the rounds go on too. You know, he did that with Cruz. He stopped kicking. You know, it's just like, wow, what's he doing? You know, but if you're gassed, you know, he's 36, did you say? So if you
Yeah.
start gassing out, that takes a lot of energy and that can empty the gas tank pretty quick. I don't see this as a grappling match. It's going to be a standing match for sure. But I think Chris Gutierrez's legs are going to be fresher and he's going to be throwing the harder kicks. And that's going to be the big difference in this fight. The striking, Munoz has the advantage in the striking. There's no doubt about that. No doubt. But
Yes.
I think the leg kicks are going to be the factor. And by the way, the height difference, Munoz is 5'6", Gutierrez is 5'9". Leg reach for Munoz is 64.5 and Gutierrez is 67. And that's, that's the arm reach, and then the leg reach for Munoz is 36.5 with a leg reach for Gutierrez at 39. So he's got a slight advantage as far as his limbs go. But it's going to be a good fight. I highly recommend everybody tune in for this card because there's going to be some wars going on. All right, next up we have a lightweight bout with Clay Guida, the Carpenter, back in the house, and Rafa Garcia. That dude's a beast too, man. So you got two guys that are way ready to strike, and no odds on this one. Give it to me.
Clay Guida is 41. He's 38 and 22, 3 of 5. Team Alpha Male wins over Scott Holtzman. Rafa's 28, 14 and 3, 3 of 5. Team Elevation win. He's a slower fighter in comparison to Clay Guida. But I mean, Clay Guida is like a Tasmanian devil that just goes in there, starts punching. He doesn't gas out, but he is. I guess he'd be considered a journeyman. He doesn't. I don't think he's ever gotten to the top like 10, but he's had wars with everybody you can imagine. But I think Rafa Garcia is coming up. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, if Clay Guida gets him, he has to get him in the beginning. He has to wear him down in the beginning, which I don't know. I'm gonna go with Rafa Garcia.
Are you?
Yeah.
Okay, so Clay Guida, you said is 41.
Yeah.
Okay. The main thing that Guida has going for him, in my opinion, is his cardio, his gas tank.
Yeah.
One thing I know about notice about Clay Guida's fights, he throws a lot of strikes, but he misses a lot. Like he misses a lot.
Yeah.
You know, I went back to the early fights when he fought Diego Sanchez in that one that should be going into the UFC Hall of Fame, you know, fight archives for sure. But he was throwing so many strikes but missing, and Diego was making contact almost 70% of the time, and that really beat up Guida. But I've seen him try to change. I think going to Team Alpha Male has been a great move for him because he was with somebody that they just said run around the cage, and he got booed out. Like
no, he was with Jackson Winklejohn originally.
When he went with them, they about booed him out of the arena because he didn't throw hardly any strikes, and they just said just evade, and you're going to win this fight. And nobody liked that, and I don't think Clay liked it either because he likes to scrap. He's 41, man. That makes it hard for me to pick him. 41 with 26 for Garcia, but you know what? I'm going to go with Clay Guida.
Oh my gosh.
I'm going to go with Guida because I think his gas tank is going to be the difference in it. As long as he can evade. I can't remember. Garcia has kind of a good grappling, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Because Guida can grapple too.
Yeah, he's a great wrestler. He has great chain wrestling. He just doesn't use it very often.
Yeah. And I know that Guida can scramble. He can get out of ground situations. It's just getting hit in the head a lot. That's where he falls short. But I'm going to go with Guida because they're both coming off of wins. I mean, there's nothing more to say about that.
Yeah.
All right. Next up, we have a featherweight bout. We have Bill Algeo versus TJ Brown. And again, it's weird. I wonder why they're not putting odds on this because, is it to keep the fighters from betting? I have no idea why the odds aren't posted.
Well, it is in Kansas City. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. Well, yeah, but the people watching it aren't in Kansas City.
Yeah, but I don't know. I mean, wasn't Kansas City where all that stuff happened? With what's the name of that fight camp? James Krause.
Kraus, yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay, there you go. So, yeah, this one's a featherweight bout. What do you got on it?
Bill Algeo is 33, 16-7, 3 of 5. Team Titan lost to Andre Fili, wins over Herbert Burns. TJ Brown is 32, 17-9, 3 of 5. Westside MMA, and he has a win over Eric Silva.
Okay. Let's see. Their height is similar. Arm reach 73, 72. Leg reach 40 inches for Algeo and 38 for TJ Brown. I'm going to go with Algeo on this one.
Okay.
I don't think it's a bad thing to have a loss to Andre Fili. That dude's a monster. And that was a good fight. I saw that fight. It was a good fight. And I've seen TJ Brown. He's pretty good. But I think Algeo's gonna edge him out on this one by decision.
I'm gonna go with TJ Brown. Take the other side.
Okay. All right. Next up, another great fight. This is another one I'm super interested in. So flyweight bout with Brandon Royval versus Matheus Nicolau. And no odds again on that fight. Take it away.
Brandon Royval is 30, 14-6, 3 of 5 Factory X, 2 wins. One of them was Matt Shell. So does Matthias is 30. He's 19-2, 6-fight winning streak. Nova Uniao wins over Matt Shell, David Dorvik, and Tim Elliott. So I'm gonna go with Matthias because I like the win streak. I like the people he's beaten. Matt Schnell is really good. I'm surprised he has a lot of losses because whenever I watch him, I'm like, man, this guy's really good.
Yeah, he is good. I'm going to go with a Brandon Royval. I think I like that he came back on his last fight and how he won that fight. Shows that he has a lot of heart. And I don't know who has a better ground game on these two.
Yeah.
I think that's the deciding factor. Who's going to win this fight? I think it's going to go to the ground at some point. And whoever can scramble, best is, I think, is going to win that fight. So, but I'm going to go with Brandon Royval. Man,
Okay.
we must be covering a lot because we're going to be running out of time here. Okay, next up we have light heavyweight bout with Zach Cummings and Ed Herman. And this one again, no odds. What do you got?
Zach Cummings is 38, 24-7, 3 of 5 Factory X. His last fight was a win. Ed Herman, the spark plug, right? Was that what is their short fuse? Is 42, 26-15, 3 of 5. American Top Team Portland lost to Alonzo Menafield. I always thought Ed Herman was like welterweight when he started. This is light heavyweight that he's fighting at?
Yep.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, all those people from that camp are like just sluggers, and but I mean, Ed Herman's really good. I'm gonna go. I mean, they are both pretty old. I mean, Zach Cummings is 38, but I'm gonna go with Zach Cummings. I don't. I
Uh,
don't know. I mean, I really thought Ed Herman was in like some other organization right now. I keep on forgetting he's in.
I'm gonna also go with Zach Cummings because I've seen Herman. He's got a lot of heart, man. That dude's a fighter to the core, and no slouch. But he's getting slower, and I've seen him rock really really bad. I've seen him come back from being almost KO'd. So he does have a lot of heart. But I'm just gonna give I think Cummings has a little more power in his punches. So I'm gonna go with Cummings on that one. And next up, we have a ladies' women's strawweight bout. Gillian Robertson versus Pieta Rodriguez, and no odds on this one. We got Gillian at 5'5" to Pereira's 5'3". Leg arm reach 63 to 63, comparable, and leg reach the same, 35.5 to 36. What you got?
Gillian is 27, 11-7, 205. She's from the Goat Shed MMA. Wins over Mariana Agapova and losses to JJ Aldrich. Piera Rodriguez is 30.
Did you say JJ?
No, JJ Aldridge, not with JJ Aldridge. Where's your mind at, man? What fighter would that be? Pierre Rodriguez is 39-0, Serpentine. She has wins over Sam Hughes. That Sam Hughes fight was really good.
Dude, look, is my face red? All right, let's see. So who are you picking on this one?
I'm gonna go with Rodriguez, 30. She's 9-0.
Híjole, mano. I'm gonna go opposite of you. I'm gonna go with Jillian. She's got a great ground game, and I haven't really seen Rodriguez's ground game, so I don't know. And just so you know, I'm setting up part 2, okay?
Okay.
Shoot you a link. So yeah, I'm gonna go with. I think if she gets her on the ground, she's gonna submit her. So I'm gonna go with the finish for Jillian. All right, hold on one second, sir. And next up, we have a lightweight bout with Lando Funky. Is it Funky? Yeah, it's Funky Venata and Daniel Zellhuber. Give me some statistics on that.
Lando is 31, 12-6, 205. Jackson MMA, Acoma. Oh, well, not Jackson MMA, not Jackson Winklejohn, but Jackson MMA. Lost to Charles Jourdain. Daniel Zellhuber is 23, 12-1, 4-5. Romero team, and he had a loss to Trey Ogden. Landon Venata's 31, Zellhuber's 23. So it's an age gap. I don't know a lot about Zellhuber, but I know Lando Venata is really good.
Yeah, he's an exciting fighter to watch. There's no doubt. He pulls some cool tricks out of his bag. Let's see. Both coming off of losses. Venata is 5'9". Daniel is 6'1", so there's a discrepancy there. Big leg, big arm reach differential. We've got Venata at 71 inches, Daniel at 77 inches, and leg reach, Venata 39 and Daniel 43.5. So he's got the reach advantage there. And you're going with Venata?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to go with Daniel.
Zellhuber?
I know something you don't, but I'm not going to say.
Oh, really? Keeping secrets.
All right. Let's see. Next up, we have a women's strawweight bout with Bruna Brazil versus Denise Gomez. And this must be a debut. Yeah, it's a debut for Bruna Brazil because there's no height or reach information on her. So I'll just let you take it from here.
Bruno Brazil's 29, 8-2, 7-fight win streak. Sanis, MMA 013. Denise Gomez is 23, 6-2, 405. Piranha Valley Tudo. And she had a loss to Luca Bonemi. Is that how you say the
Yep,
lady's
that's
name?
correct.
Yeah. I think I'm gonna go with Bruna because it's her debut, and I think they know something that I don't know.
Well, when we do the recap, that's what I called on that last card. Is that I don't know about this the debut. There's a reason why they're putting them on a pay-per-view. So, and I think I turned out to be right on that call. So I'm going to go with you on that, Bruna Brazil, to win, and don't have much information on Denise on her fights. So not much to say on that one.
Mm.
All right, next up, we have a bantamweight bout with Aaron Phillips versus Gaston. How do you pronounce that name? Bolanos.
Bolanos. Okay.
Let's see. We've got Aaron Phillips at 5'9", with a Gaston at 5'7". Arm reach, Phillips 71, Gaston 70.5, so they're identical. Leg reach, we got Phillips at 40 inches, and they don't have a listing for Gaston on the leg reach. What do you got?
Okay, Phillips is 33, 12-4, 4-5. Head kicks, MMA lost to Jack Shore. Gaston is 30, 6-3, 3 of the last 5. CSA wins over Daniel Carey.
And he's a debut.
Oh, he's a debut?
Yep.
Yeah, I don't know what. I don't write down what fight organization he's coming from, but I'm gonna go with Aaron Phillips in this one.
Oh, you surprised me.
Yeah,
I thought
like to go.
I thought we made a pact to go with debuts.
Yeah, I don't know. For some reason, just because it's because his record is so small. Like he's only at 6-3, so he's not like. I don't know. They might see something. It might be something that I don't know, but I'm going with Aaron Phillips. He's got 12-4.
Okay, I'm going to go with Gaston because I agree with you there. They have to see something to put him on a debut card. It is a fight night card, so he's not going to be like out of this world. It's fantastic. I wouldn't imagine, but you never know. I don't recall ever seeing Aaron Phillips fight. Who did you say was his last fight?
Jack Shore.
Oh, sure. I did see that fight. Okay. Gosh. Yeah, I'm just going to roll the dice. I'm going to go with Gaston because Shore is a pretty good guy. I like him. All right, last of this card, we have a women's bantamweight bout. We've got Jocelyn Edwards versus Lucy Pudilova. And there's no odds on this one. We've got height of 5'8" for Jocelyn and 5'8" for Lucy. Arm reach 70 inches for Jocelyn, 67.5 for Lucy, and leg reach Jocelyn 39 with a 42 leg reach for Lucy. What do you got?
Yeah, both of these. I had it originally. It said featherweight, but you might be right. Jocelyn is 27, 12-4, 3-5. Kings MMA, 2 wins over the last fights. She goes up and down because she's one of the only people that can fight at featherweight. Lucy Poldova is 28, 14-7, 4-5. Octagon Fighting is her team, and 30, not 33, 3 wins. So I mean, they're both coming off of winning records. I think Jocelyn's pretty good. She can't beat the big names, but she does fight the big name. She basically, they fight her to fight for the title because there's really no one else in that featherweight weight class.
And who you going with?
I'm gonna go with Jocelyn.
Jocelyn? Okay. I like her too because I think she's got a lot of heart. She doesn't seem to quit. You can kind of sense it on some fighters when they kind of give up, and you never know what they're feeling. I mean, if their brain is rattled, you can't really tell all the time, but sometimes you can just see people, they just lose the will to fight, and they're trying to figure out a way to get out of there. And sometimes I've even seen people put themselves in a position for a choke. Let's get this over with, man.
Yeah.
Get the chin, goes the arms, quick tap. Oh boy, that's what Nunez did when she lost to Juliana Pena.
Yeah, I think she just gave up. She didn't want to fight anymore.
That's what I'm saying. They just lose the will to fight. They don't want to be there. But I'm gonna go with Lucy on this one.
Okay.
Just to keep the intrigue rolling.
All right.
All right, so there you go, guys. This is our fight night Holloway versus Allen card, and now we're as promised, we're going to do a recap of the main card and one fight below that because I think it was kind of controversial, or so people say, and I want to actually start off from the bottom and work our way up from that fight. There were a lot of great fights on that card, very exciting card. But we're going to start off the main card of the prelims and then work our way up to the main event. And we had Chris Curtis versus Kelvin Gastelum. And tell me your thoughts on that fight, man.
I think Kevin Gastelum did good. He did what he needed to do. You know what I mean? He punched. He kept the distance. You know what I mean? I don't know. Chris Curtis, like you were telling me, the guy complains too much. The guy, like, when you're in a fight that close, it can go either way. So a lot of fights that are way bigger than that got it all wrong, but they lost. And I think they'll keep him around if he doesn't complain as much. They're gonna give him another fight, see how he does. But I did you pick Gastelum or you pick Chris Curtis?
I picked Chris Curtis.
Okay. Yeah. So yeah, I had Gastelum. You said that Gastelum was too old, that he quit. No, he didn't quit this time.
Well, he worked the mind aspect of it, and he was talking about that a lot of the pre-interviews. But the thing I really liked that he did in that fight is he was moving. He didn't get flat-footed. A couple of times he got flat-footed and he got tagged, and he says, "Okay, I got to keep dancing. I got to keep moving." But his distance, he managed the distance great. Chris Curtis, he looked frustrated in there, and because he didn't pull the trigger a lot. When he did, he caused some damage. But I think he is the opposite of Gastelum in this fight. Gastelum got his head right, his head space right, and Chris Curtis got his wrong. Anger, frustration, the headbutt, blah blah blah. That stuff happens in a fight. You don't stop the fight, unless the cut is over your eye and draining in your eye, and the doctor stops it. So you can complain all you want. And I've read articles where Chris Curtis is planning on filing an appeal. And, the UFC is not going to like that stuff. I know that he's got to do what he's got to do, right? But I think he just, he's going to become a heel because he's griping so much, And
yeah, they're not going to overturn that fight.
No way. But even if it was a headbutt, you still fight. They're not going to. The only thing that's going to stop it is a doctor stoppage. So you go out and fight. You don't say, well, I got headbutted and I got cheated. You still lost. The W goes on Gastelum's side.
Yeah.
That's the bottom line.
Yeah, unless he cheated or unless he got tested for something, they're not going to overturn it.
Yeah, but they're not going to overturn that, you know. But to go out and do that, I don't know, man. I think I think, but he says he's a hothead, you know. He testifies to that himself. He says, "Yeah, I get angry. I get hot, man, and then I can't control what I say or do or whatever." So, you know, it may be good for his fighting style, but it isn't good for the politics on the back end. Okay, next up. So we had the golden boy Raul Rosas, who I picked against Christian Rodriguez, who missed weight by 1.2, 1.5 pounds. And what do you think about that fight?
I think Raul Rosa went in there like an 18-year-old kid. He went in there, he thought he was going to take this guy out. He ran on him, gave all his energy, and then, didn't look very good in those later rounds. And now everybody's saying that he should take 2 years off. He's not even anywhere close to anybody, and he really isn't. We realize that he's got talent, but he doesn't have the skill yet. His punching wasn't very good. His wrestling was very predictable. And every time he would shoot, it'd be like a mile away. Christian Rodriguez would just stick his head on the ground, rub his face in the mat. It wasn't good. And Raul Rosa needs to go to a real team now. Like his dad and his brother, I think he needs to go to like TriStar or go to Matt Hume's team up in Seattle. He needs to go somewhere where they're not going to be impressed with him, and they're going to make him work because he doesn't know everything. He thinks he was going to fight for 3 different titles, and now it's not going to happen. And people didn't like him before, so now they're going to be even more mean to him, and it's
Well,
kind of not cool.
Don't read the comments on the articles, man, because those just people are brutal about that guy. But yeah, I think he came out way too fast. I don't understand the game plan. They had to have had a game plan because I don't think he just went out there and they're screaming, "Stop doing that!" I think they had a game plan. Go out there, finish this guy off. He missed weight. They were already looking down on him. If he missed weight, he probably had trouble cutting weight. He's probably sick. He's probably this or that. So they came up with this scenario that go out there and finish him in the first round, make yourself look really good in the eyes of Dana, and you're going to shoot to superstardom. You're going to pull a Sugar Sean O'Malley, right? And I think that's what happened. But he gassed. He gassed, and that was his biggest problem. It wasn't, in my opinion, it wasn't necessarily his skill set. It was that he spent all of his energy probably in the first 2 minutes of that round because he was trying really hard and failing. And then the psychological thing kicked in. I can't get this guy. How come he had him? He had the full lock. He had the arm on the neck, and he couldn't. And the guy just kept peeling his arm away, man. And and he was just like, "What? How come I can't finish him? I finished the last guy." Just like this. And he's not playing the game the right way.
No.
It reminds me of that old Living Color video where Jim Carrey played like the Chuck Norris karate teacher. And he gives the knife to the student and he says, "Go ahead, stab me." And the student, and he goes, "Yeah," and he goes, and the blood starts squirting out, and he goes, "No, you got to do it like this." He said, "Lucky I was able to move my intestines."
Yeah.
All right, so here we go. Next up, and I really want your thoughts on this fight and the analysis. Kevin Holland at welterweight versus Santiago Ponzinibbio.
I think Kevin Holland was doing. He won what, the second round?
Yeah.
He won in the second. He was doing all right in the first round, but you cannot play that game with Kevin Holland. You cannot try to like outpoint him in punches because he's gonna find an opening, and that's exactly what he did. He knocked him into the next week. I mean, he hit him so hard, and I was watching it, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, what just happened?" So I was listening to a fight companion, and then I look over. Luckily, the fight companion was before the fight. So when I looked at my phone, I was like, oh, okay, it's coming up. I know something's coming. And then I was like, oh my God, yeah. Kevin Holland is really good. I don't remember. They weren't ranked in this fight, were they? Doesn't say that they were ranked, but yeah. Kevin Holland was this was in middleweight, right?
Welterweight.
Welterweight, yeah. So he can get into the top 15. He said he wants to retire, then he comes back. He's kind of like Brett Favre over here, like wishy-washy.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it was a really good fight. I think Kevin Holland, his stock went up.
I uh I I picked Kevin Holland to win that fight. Um Ponzinibbio, he looked like he was much smaller in every aspect. He just looked like he looked like he was like 6, 7 inches shorter than Holland. Or yeah, than Holland. And I'm gonna double check that real quick. Oh, it doesn't say. But he looked a lot smaller. His movement was good. He didn't seem to pull the trigger very much. But I saw the one thing that kind of concerned me in the fight was Holland took a lot of leg kicks. He took a lot of leg kicks, man. And I'm just thinking, with a guy that has better leg kicks than that, Holland needs to correct that because he's gonna get hammered. He's got skinny legs anyway, but I think he's gonna get hammered if he doesn't fix that aspect. And I think he was fighting with a broken hand. Did you hear about that?
No, I didn't hear about that.
That's why he was just using one on the jab. He throw it, but he said his hand got broke in the fight. So to win that way and have a broken hand, that's pretty good, man. Your stock goes up. I agree with you there, and I like Kevin Holland. Okay, the next one up: Rob Font versus Adrian Yanez. Who did you pick?
We both picked Giannis.
Oh God! Wow.
And
Font,
Rob Font did well. He looked like he was ranked 6, Giannis was 12th, and it looked like it.
yeah, I agree with that comment 100% because Font looked spectacular. I mean, Yanez looked good too, but Font. There's levels to this game, baby. There's levels. And
Yeah.
I think Yanez took some stiff jabs and he's like, okay, I got to readjust, but he didn't readjust in time.
Yeah, I think well he's still got a lot. He's 29. He's getting into his adult body. This should be his prime, for Giannis. So I wouldn't hang my hat on it. I would really try to fix a lot of that, not going into war, not getting picked apart, kind of tighten things up.
Yeah, yeah, because he's got all the skill sets. But Font, man, he was flawless in my opinion. He looked flawless to me. I was admiring him, and even though I picked Giannis, when you watch a fight like that, I mean, it's not that I switch camps mid fight, but like Gastelum, I was rooting for Gastelum because I just saw that he changed. You know, he's going along and he's not looking good, and he's losing. And then he's like, he says I changed, but that there's a difference between saying it and doing it, right? But then
Right.
you get in there and you watch him and then you root for him because he did. He made the corrections. He made the things that he needed to do. Font did the same thing, man.
Yeah.
And you got to root for that because if they say I did all these changes, I switched camps, I did this, and they go out and fight the same way, the same mentality, then you're like, yeah, whatever. But when these guys change, then you root for them, even though you pick the other guy, right? Because that's how I feel about it. I think it's pretty cool. All right, next up, we have Gilbert Burns and Jorge Masvidal. What are your thoughts on that one?
Uh, Gilbert Burns was good. Jorge Masvidal was touching him up, and he realized, man, I cannot box this guy. This guy has levels to this, but there is levels to my grappling, and that's exactly what he did. He took him down, and he took him down at will. He couldn't submit him, which I was very surprised he couldn't submit him. And then, there was the controversy that, Masvidal greased and was putting baby oil, but they've since apologized to each other. I don't think there's no hard feelings, but yeah, you think that's really it for Masvidal, or you think he's got only a money? I think he's got a money fight left in him, but it's
Yeah,
got to be a money fight.
he definitely does, but I don't expect to see him for about a year or so because I think he wants to concentrate on his game bred boxing. Because even Dana White said the card and the production values of the game bred boxing was pretty good. So it's getting that from Dana White, that's pretty high praise. So I think he's going to concentrate on that. And the only reason why he'll come back, and I don't believe it'll be for money, I think it'll just be because he misses the roar of the crowd. He misses the adulation. I think that's what would bring him back. But I don't expect to see him for, if at all, for a year or more. And I think they may have the perfect fight for him that they offer him a ton of money and he can't resist and come in and do it. Because we've seen it before, right? Even with like Conor McGregor, we've seen it before.
Yeah.
Let me tell you my feelings on this fight. I wasn't super impressed with it.
No,
No, and I'll tell you why. Gilbert Burns, he looked okay to me, but he doesn't have that chutzpah. He doesn't have that because he keeps talking about title. I want to fight for the title. I want to fight for the title. But I still think he needs to work on the persona. I think he needs to, he doesn't excite me as a fighter. Like I wasn't like rooting for Burns. I picked Burns to win, but when I saw him fight, I was just like, okay, it's a good fight, but I wasn't on the edge of my seat like with the Font and Yanez, with Gastelum and Curtis, and it just I don't know, and even knowing that it was going to be a long shot for Masvidal to win, he already had one foot outside of the octagon, and when you have that, you're not expecting, he threw a couple of bombs that missed by a long shot, to do that spectacular knockout, and it would have been great for him to even knock him out and then leave and still retire on a win, right? But Burns' style and taking him down, that was good. He, like you said, he did what he had to do to win. But it wasn't title contention.
you don't think he gets
caliber.
a title shot out of that?
Yeah, I don't think so, man. I think they're going to make him fight again because I just don't think he's going to get a title shot. Because you got a guy who's way older, who's got one foot out the octagon, and it was still tough for Burns because he couldn't take him out with striking. I know he wanted to because you could tell at the beginning he wanted to knock Masvidal out so that you could say I got hands, but when he couldn't do it, yeah, you're smart, put the pride aside and take him down and do what you do best. But again, it wasn't to me, it wasn't an edge of your seat type of a fight for me. So I don't know. That's kind of how I feel about Gilbert Burns. I don't think, he's a good fighter. He's well rounded. But when you see he gets almost knocked out by a jab from Usman, and then he's crying in the ring. I mean, come on, bro.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know. You gotta have a little bit more, to be a champ like the next fight we're going to talk about, Alex Pereira versus Israel Adesanya. Now that was a good fight, bro. What did you think?
I was watching it on the ride home and got in the second round and I was like, oh no, like Izzy was getting checked in the leg. I was like, I don't know if he has this. My wife had to run inside because she works from home, so she was starting work, and then I'm screaming in the car. She thinks I'm screaming at Ledger, and Ledger's like, "What's going on?" And he's like, let me see your phone." Yeah, he turtled up. I thought that was a bad idea. I said that he needed a close distance, and he couldn't beat Alex shot for shot. He couldn't counter right, but he did what he needed to do. He needed him to open up and get greedy. That's what he did. He opened up and he got greedy, and then he just caught him with those 3 shots. What do you think of him taunting Alex's son?
Well, I think when you saw what his son did to him,
Yeah,
you know,
his son was six
the
years
boy
old.
was in the ring.
Yeah.
The boy was in the ring, and then he's like, boom. So, to me, that doesn't bother me because if the boy can do it, he's got to learn. It's a real world, right? There's consequences. Not just because you're a kid. There's consequences. You mock somebody, you're going to get mocked back.
Yeah, I guess it wasn't as bad as, I don't know if you remember this, but Fedor fought Mark Coleman, and they brought Mark Coleman's kids in after he lost his 2 daughters, and I mean his face was destroyed. And Fedor comes over and pets their head and was like, "Oh, your dad's a champion." And they're in tears. They don't even know what he's talking about. This big Russian guy. They're just like, and Russian. The Russian accent isn't the most like calming. Yeah,
Compassionate.
yeah.
Your father fight good.
Yeah, I don't know. I think he did what he needs to do. I don't think they fight again. I don't want to see that fight again. I
Yeah.
think if they do that fight, I think Alex should go up. He's got way more. The other thing, like I said, is that if he would have won, stylistically, everybody in the middleweight division were tough fights for him
Yeah. It's
because
true.
they all had, and in the light heavyweight, he's got a lot of people that want to stand. There's not a lot of people that are going to try to take him down. And I think in his mind he wants to avenge Glover's loss, and he wants Jamal Hill, and they might give him Jamal Hill if he wins one fight.
He can beat Jamal Hill too.
Yeah, they give him Jamal Hill, and then they do the trilogy at light heavyweight because that's what Izzy wants is the other title.
Well, I think now there's a lot of talk, and I kind of agree with them because I went back and I watched the ending sequence of that fight. And Adesanya himself called it the Ali rope-a-dope. So he lured him in, and he was taking shots, and they were getting through. But like you said, he was waiting because if you watched Alex when he started to do that, he's like, okay, this is the last fight all over again. I'm going to knock him out. But he dropped his hands all the way down to about here. And he's like going boom, boom, boom. And that was just right there, just waiting. And Adesanya, man, you can see it especially when they played it in slow mo. He looked up and he saw that his hands were dropped, and that's what Ali did. He did a lot of rope-a-dope. You thought he was getting hurt, and he's doing this, and then he's just looking for that spot, and then boom, just like that, and that's exactly how it played out. So whether that was part of the plan all the time, it's hard to say because like when Shevchenko lost, Grasso, they practiced that spinning back kick and to take her down, and they showed it before the fight. They showed exactly what happened. And so if Adesanya was doing that, let's rope it up because he's going to drop his hands because he's going to start throwing power to you, and so he's got to wind up those arms and not fire from here. He's got to wind up and crank, and that's exactly what happened, man. So if they practice that, if that was part of the strategy, it was brilliant. He had the chance to still get knocked out, because it looked like a replay, right? But it didn't pan out that way. And I just wanted to let you know, I read an article just before our podcast that Pereira said he's going up.
The best move.
So you're correct. He said he's going up.
Yeah, I mean he said in the interview I saw that he already won the title, And that was the idea, and that he didn't want to cut as much, but he knew that the Izzy fight was a fight that he could win. So he's already got the stock up. He's the boogeyman. Now he's going up, and I think he's going to do a lot better. He's not going to cut. And I think that fight, I don't pick Izzy because he's going to be like 235 up there. He's not going to cut anything.
Yeah, but Izzy already lost to Jan. He lost to Jan. They're both vulnerable to wrestlers. Both of
Yeah, I
them.
mean, up there, Jan might be tough for Alex, and Magomed Ankalaev are the two, like, but other than that, he trained with Dominic Reyes, but I don't think Dominic Reyes is up there. He'll beat Alex. What's the Lionheart's name?
Smith.
Alex Smith.
Yeah.
All those people are good fights for him.
Yeah. Well,
and probably the best is Yuri. That's the one that I would like to see the most.
That'll be a stand-up brawl if you want to see stand-up, because anybody that's going to be a decent grappler or a jujitsu or a wrestler, they're going to give both Pereira and Adesanya a hard time. The only thing, one thing that Adesanya does really good when he's fighting a grappler or a wrestler is he can maintain that distance, man. And if you can maintain that distance, then you nullify what a wrestler can do. Because if they try to go for a double leg and you're like 6 feet away, they're not getting it. They're not getting it. Especially if you just do one step back and you're 10 feet away, and then they're running at grabbing that air. But I do think that those two guys, if they can improve their ground game a little bit, they'll both be very, very deadly, very up there for a long time, because they got the striking down. Both of those guys they have the striking down, no doubt. But if you're, think about it. If you were an MMA fighter, and you're going to go to the thing that you do the best, the most, right?
Right.
Even when you go to the gym, when I used to work out at the gym, I used to hate the military presses, and guess where I was the weakest? Because I hated to do it. I didn't like the motion. I didn't like the feel. It was painful, and so, and I'm sure fighters are like that too. They can't be good at everything. Some are, but those are the guys that are the champs, like Volkanovski. That dude is amazing. He's amazing. And speaking of that upcoming fight with him and Yair, that's going to be in Vegas where we're going. So we're going to see that fight live.
So far, like what they have planned is it's John Jones and Stipe.
They said they're pushing that back.
Oh, they are? So it's going to be Volkanovski
and Koja.
And then what was it? Cody Garbrandt, Dominic Cruz, Bo Nickel, and then they want to do
Cody Garbrandt's fighting Dominic Cruz on that card?
Yeah, that's what they're saying.
Dude, Cruz is my boy. Yeah.
And then they're saying Marab versus what's the Omar Nurmagomedov or whatever, is that his name?
Yeah. Woo-wee, that's a good card. I'm getting chills now.
Yeah, Cody Garbrandt, Dominic Cruz, one loser goes home. You know what I mean? It's like Cruz
is going to beat he's going to win that one.
You think so?
Yeah, he's going to win that one.
And then he retires. Just retire, Cruz.
Yeah, if he beats Garbrandt, because then he would have avenged Team Alpha Male of cleaning house with Team Alpha Male, and then he can go out on a high note and say, yeah, okay, we're good. But I think, I'm going to go with Cruz, regardless of what the odds are, because that's my boy.
Yeah, well, you didn't vote for him last time, so.
Yeah, his nose was in his ear. Did you see that?
Yeah.
No, but I'm hoping that's on that card, because that's great. I'm stoked now. You just made my day, Nando. All right, you guys, we covered it. We did the recap. Nando, great analysis. Thank you for all the stats. We want you to like and share our our content. And remember, Knuckle Sandwich MMA, we're here for you guys. We want to break it down, and we're honest with it. You know, sometimes we, you know, people don't like what we say.
Oh yeah, and the last thing, this fight card I won 7-6. Just one fight I won with.
Why you got to bring that up at the end?
Because you told me to bring it up. I forgot. I won. If you would have won, I would have forgot. But your boy won one. All right.
Okay, but here's the thing, Nando. We got to do better at our picks, man.
Yeah, we're not doing
Like
good.
overall, right? Like
Right.
overall, we can't be 6 for 6. Yeah, you know, so we got to do better. So you guys help us do better. Help us. Anyway, thanks for watching Knuckle Sandwich MMA. We'll see you guys on the flip side. Don't forget, like, share, and subscribe. We'll see you next time. Ciao.